Appreciate that, Sakina, and I appreciate the opportunity from you and Jennifer to share again. My goal today, just so everybody on the webinar knows, my goal really is to give you as much value as possible over the next probably 40 to 45 minutes, answer some questions for you. If you have questions throughout, chat them in. I'll try to pay attention to the chat. And you can also speak up as well. Feel free to be on video if you want to be on video so I can see your face, but also you don't have to be on video. Just as way of introduction, if you didn't see, I had spoken to your team about a month ago, I think it was, on the topic of farming, but it was at one of your sales meetings, so it was pretty short and wasn't able to go into a ton of detail, had to speed through a bunch of stuff. My name's Luke Akery. I'm the president of a company called Remindermedia. So our company's been at this for about almost 2 decades now. I've had the privilege to work with about 100,000 plus real estate agents. And what I'm going to share with you today is the lead generation strategy of farming. It's specifically during this time frame, everybody's looking for ways to generate listings. I think farming is a great strategy that you can start implementing to try to generate some inventory, some interest in inventory, because you can do some educational pieces to share with people of what's happening in the market, how much equity someone has in a home, those type of things. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through, but I'll open up this way and make sure, one of the things I shared at you guys' sales meeting that I want to make sure everybody gets today is that farming in its nature, kind of built into the word, is a long-term strategy. So all of us want the get rich quick scheme. I want it. Everybody else wants it, right? But farming is not that scheme. I really haven't found one that actually works. Farming is not a lead generation strategy that you can just do for 90 days and stop. It's kind of like a flywheel. You know how a flywheel, as it starts to get going, if you actually measured the momentum of a flywheel, it's it takes a lot more momentum to get it turning at first than it does once it's already going. And eventually a flywheel almost spins on its own with its own created momentum. That's the beautiful nature of farming. If you're tired of being on a hamster wheel, right? Tired of being on a roller coaster that one month is good, the next month is down, and you're looking for a way to build a long-term business that attracts versus having to just prospect, farming is a game to do that, because in essence, what you're doing is just like a farmer is toiling the soil, planting the seed, watering the seed, all the things that a good farmer does to reap a harvest. You're doing that for a specific neighborhood. You're doing that for a specific group of people to be able to plant the seed that you are the real estate agent of choice, that they should look nowhere else but to you if they're looking for something in real estate. There's 2 types of farming that you can do. But before we jump into that, I'd just love to see for everybody on this, how many of you guys currently farm today? Zoom does have a little emojis like reaction thing that I think you can hit, or you can just kind of say, raise your hand. I'd love to know audience wise, who's doing farming currently today. You also might be able to do it, chat it in as well. You guys didn't know you were coming to a class with participation, right? Class activity. It's kind of like the college professor when they asked a question, all the students look down. It's not a gotcha answer. Just want to make it as applicable as possible. So I'm going to take it because let's see, we have one chat coming in. Kevin says, I currently do not. So I'm going to take it as most people currently do not farm. All right, so no, I do not. Angie, I do not. Awesome. So thank you guys for your participation. Denise, you do. Awesome. So most of you are not farming. Some of you are. So that's good for me to know. So I'll share some tips kind of throughout on both. So for those who don't farm, there's 2 high-level types of farming, right? There's geographic farming and there's demographic farming. Geographic farming is traditionally what most agents think of when it comes to farming. You live in a neighborhood, you want to target the surrounding homes in the neighborhood you live, that specific geographic location to be the dominant agent. You might choose a zip code, you might choose a certain subdivision. Demographic farming is taking characteristics of people, right? Characteristics, maybe it's how long they've lived in a home. Maybe you're targeting renters. Maybe you're targeting luxury homes. So it's $1 million plus. And you use these characteristics to narrow your audience to be able to farm effectively. What I always encourage my clients to do is to try to almost use both in a way. Where are you active in your community? Where are you a dominant kind of force from a standpoint of you're involved, people can see you? And then how can we take demographic information or niche-based information and make you more effective? In today's world, with the movement of data and big data, you can really tap into some big data, some predictive analytics to try to even help you become more efficient to predict who's going to move. The algorithms aren't perfect. Our algorithm that we use is about 72% accurate, but it takes literally thousands of different data points. Did someone recently get divorced? Did they recently have kids? And think about it this way. What big data is doing is it's taking all these different data points and it's going, wow, Luke, he just recently had his third kid. And Luke currently owns a property that only has 2 bedrooms. And it's taking things like that and it's basically making correlations to go, Luke is potentially likely to move because of these data points. So there's big data out there. We have one. I can share that at the end if anybody's interested in that. Here's how you choose a farm for all that haven't chosen, or even, if you're thinking, hey, my farm's not really working, these might be the reasons why. You want to look at how much competition is in the area. So you don't want to go into a farm, take a subdivision of 300 homes. If I take this subdivision of 300 homes and I download all the past sales for the past 2 years, and I see Sakina has sold 60% of all the listings the past 2 years out of this neighborhood of 300 homes, Sakina is the dominant agent in that area. And it's not that I can't beat her, but know that she has a hold and a brand on that subdivision, on that market. So I'm going to have to spend more marketing money to get out in front of her, or get out in front of the people more, or I'm going to have to outwork her from a sweat equity standpoint and start door knocking, cold calling more than Sakina does to overtake her brand. So if you can find a farm where there's not one single agent that has 60%, 50% of all the listings, all the sales, you're better off. Second is, try with your households to at least do 250 plus. A lot of agents I see, maybe they'll choose a farm and they'll farm like 51 people or 77 people. And it's not enough. It's not that it's bad. You are hitting those people, but you're not going to have a consistent deal flow. And remember, you're putting all this effort in from a farming standpoint. You're investing for the long term. So why not actually invest for a crop that's going to be worth it? And so what we have found is minimum of 250. The more you can do, obviously, the better. A lot of that's going to be dictated by your budget. Something else to think about when it comes to the advantages of farming. So I know we have some new agents, brand new agents here at this. When you think about farming versus maybe like referrals or something like that, I'm a huge advocate of referrals. I think most of your business should come from your sphere, from your referrals, but it's not going to be all your business. Farming is awesome because you can control the listing price. You can control the potential buyer or listing price that you get. And therefore you can build a more almost like scalable, predictable business. What do I mean by that? Well, when a referral comes to me, say Sakina refers somebody to me, I can't control whether they're a $150,000 buyer or a $500,000 buyer. I have no control over that. Yes, it's a better client because it's someone that's, referred to me from someone I trust. They naturally are easy to work with, but I can't control the level that they are. When it comes to farming, you can be in control. You can choose a neighborhood of $400,000 plus homes because you want to work in a 400,000 plus subdivision. That's what your goal is. That's another benefit to farming when you think about choosing your farm. Third thing, and probably the most important, if you're taking notes to underline of, Luke, when choosing a neighborhood to farm, what should I look for? The turnover rate is the key indicator. So here's how you calculate the turnover rate. You take the number of sales in a year and you divide it by the number of homes in that place you want to farm. So maybe it's a zip code. You take the number of homes in the zip code, right? So you take the number of sales divided by the number of homes, and that gives you your turnover rate. You want to go into a farm that actually has homes selling. Turnover rate means this is the amount of homes that sell a year. If I'm farming 300 homes and 30 sell a year, that's my goal, is going, okay, I see 30 are going to sell a year. I have about a 10% turnover rate. in this area. You're not going to get all 30, right? Especially your first year, because it's a long-term game. Maybe you can get 10 of the 30, right? So now if you get 10 of the 30, now you know, well, if I get 10 of the 30 and the average home sale price in this area is $200,000, that means my 3% commission is going to be $6,000. That means my potential income is going to be $60,000 out of this area. That's my benchmark. Then I can go, if my potential income is $60,000, I'm going to spend 10% on marketing. So I'm going to spend $6,000 on my marketing for this farm. You notice how I reverse engineered out of what my farm was to get kind of my goals and also my target and what I would do with my farming. That's the beautiful thing when you look at the turnover rate, you can set a benchmark, a goal for yourself that you can hold yourself accountable to. What do they say? Like a goal without a plan, or a dream without a goal, or a dream without a plan is just a wish. Like, you have to put down on paper what you expect, because you're not going to hit a target you don't know what you're shooting for. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about your farm. Turnover rate, when I talked to Tom Ferry about this, I was interviewing him on my podcast. If you guys are interested and you listen to podcasts, I would love for you to check out my podcast. It's called Stay Paid. I get to interview people like Tom Ferry, the #1 coach in real estate, a ton. I just had an interview come out today with a lady named Barb Betts. She's an unbelievable top producer in Long Beach, California. Incredible interview. And she really focuses on relationship marketing, is where her name of the game is. But she just is testing right now some farming. She admitted it on the podcast. But it's called Stay Paid Podcast. But what Tom Ferry said was, he said, don't go into a farm with less than 5% turnover. If there's not at least 5% of homes selling a year in the farm, don't go there. One of the things that you can look at extra for you, if you're a veteran agent, is where are you already active? So I don't know how many years people have been in the business in this, but you've probably sold some homes before, some of you. Go to batchgeo.com, or Google Maps, I think, has the same type of option, but batchgeo.com should allow you to upload a list of addresses, and it will pinpoint on a map where those addresses are. So take your past sales, upload them to Google Maps or to Batch Geo, and look naturally where your sales are. And look and say, where do I naturally already work? Where am I already getting traction? Because my open houses are there, my yard signs are there. I'm already probably doing just listed cards maybe to that area, or I'm running Facebook ads or whatever it is. You want to go where you already have traction. And remember, it's a flywheel. You're trying to get the flywheel to move on its own momentum and build such omnipresence where people see you everywhere in their farm that they think of you and not the competition. If you're a new agent, you don't have any past sales, another tip I would give is, where are you already active? Where are you out and about in the community? Do you go to church? Is there a coffee shop you frequent? Is there a gym you go to? Is there a grocery store you always shop at? Do you have kids and they're involved in a school? Are there parks that you go to all the time? And if you look at that area, could you farm that area? Because you want to be active in your farm. You want to be the local expert, the local influencer. If you're never in your farm, it's going to be even harder for you to become that dominant force, or at least the connector in that community. So some tips there when choosing a farm. All right, moving on. Here are the things you need to know when it comes to farming. I always tell people, look, these tips apply past your farming. It actually applies to almost all of your marketing. But I'm going to share with you specifically from a farming perspective these 3 tips. One is, when you start farming, you must consistently connect with your farm. I interviewed a guy, Frank Isolde. His interview hasn't released yet, but I can't wait for you guys to hear this interview. He's an agent right outside Manhattan in Westfield, New Jersey. He's been doing this for, I think, 18 years, he said. He actually farms, is one of the main sources of leads. He does about 60 transactions a year, almost 60 million in volume, and it's just him and then like a administrator coordinator on his team. And he touches base with his farm weekly. Like literally every week, he's trying to get something in front of his farm. That's the amount of consistency he wants. When I asked him his personal opinion of what would you say the minimum for you would be, he said, oh, I would encourage agents at least every 2 weeks. 26 times a year, get out in front of your farm. What I have found is that you at least minimum need to be in front of your farm once a month. And once a month with some type of touch point getting into your farm. And then I say 4 times a quarter, you need to try to find a way to have a connection, whether it's a phone call, a door knock. I'll talk about some ideas of maybe like an event you can do and stuff like that, but getting proactive out in that community, because that's going to really add fuel to the fire of your farm. So consistency is key. The principle, for those who didn't hear my talk when I spoke at your sales meeting, one of the things I shared this concept in psychology of frequency breeds familiarity. So for all of your marketing, for everybody that you're trying to get in front of, you need to become familiar to them, because familiarity leads to comfort and leads to trust. And you don't need me to remind you that you got to get people to know, like, and trust you. That's the name of the game. Everybody knows that. So how do you actually tangibly do that? It's called frequency leads to familiarity, which leads to comfort, which will ultimately lead to trust. The more frequent you are with people, the more comfortable they become with you. It's natural. Think of the last time you met somebody new. You weren't comfortable with them. Not because of anything wrong. It's just you're meeting them for the first time. You know nothing about them. It's kind of awkward. The same applies to your brand. In fact, in marketing, there's this rule of 7 where it basically states, the rule of 7 is a person has to see your brand at least 7 times for your brand even to become recognizable or memorable to them. You have to get in front of them 7 times. And so you need to be frequently in front of people for them to get comfortable with you. You can do that through mailers. You can do that through phone calls. You can do that through pop-bys. You can do that even from ads on social media. In fact, I'm a firm believer in holistic marketing. I want them to see you in the email inbox, on social media, on the mailbox, on the coffee table, at the local bank, at the local grocery store, because the more they see you, the more they know you. The more they know you, the more they can get to like you. And the more they get to like you, the more they can get to trust you. But you can't just be frequent, right? The example I gave was this pen that's still on my desk here, has my logo on it. If I frequently send this pen to you, eventually you will get to the point where you go, Luke, do not send me another pen. Or you will do what most of us do. Think of your furniture store. Think of your car dealership. We've all bought a car before, right? They send us postcards. They send us mailers. They send us emails. What do? You glance at it and you go, does this actually serve a purpose to me right now? Do I like the oil change promo? Nope. You toss. Right? And we as real estate agents, what's happened to us is we tend to shift right into that same mode of every other company. It's, hey, look at me. Here's my just listed. Hey, look at me. Here's my just solds. Hey, look at me. Here's my market updates. All good things. You need these things, but you need them strategically. In your farm, remember, you're under the perspective of a long-term game. This is not, I'm sending out one mailer to try to generate one listing to try to get a commission check and then I'm done. This is, I want to build a relationship with the people in this community so they know me as the local influencer and expert when it comes to everything real estate, but they also know me as a person. They know me as someone who's involved in the community, someone that they can like, someone they can relate to, someone they can trust. So this is the 3 E's of content, kind of as a guiding light for your social content, your email content, your print content. The first E stands for education. The second E stands for entertainment. And the third E stands for endearment. So this is the second bullet point here. You want relevant messaging that's impactful. Use the 3 E's as a guiding light: education, entertainment, endearment. Education can be stuff like what's happening in the market. It's very valuable to educate people right now that, man, prices are soaring, inventory is low, the buyer demand's crazy. It's very good to educate people what mortgage rates are doing, what it would be to refinance your home and what that would mean for your actual mortgage payment monthly. What a value add you can bring to people saying, look, if you refinance, you can save a couple $100 maybe on your mortgage payment. Some really good things that tie you in to being an authority on your subject matter. But you don't want to stop just at education. Move on to entertainment. Entertainment might be what's happening in this local community. Are there events that are going on? Is there a farmer's market that you could educate people on of where they, hey, they can go enjoy it Saturday at the farmer's market. It can be entertaining to them. Can you put together a recipe card and send a recipe to them and something they can make, a kid's activity, something they can do with their kids. So many ideas to give entertaining content to people that just is naturally just a value add. Get your face in front of them, giving back, not really expecting anything in return. And then third is endearment. Every business should not just be a business for money. This is my firm belief. So you can take it or leave it. I think businesses should be businesses with purpose, businesses of impact. How do you get endearment? You need to tie yourself to the community in some form or fashion that gives back. Is there a charity you can get involved with, like a food bank? Is maybe the local SPCA, right? Or something that you're really passionate about? Is there something you can do in the community to give back that you can use in your farming, right? Imagine a postcard that you're doing a fundraiser for the local SPCA. You're actually going to pick up food donations for the SPCA. It's still branding you. In psychology, it's called the halo effect. I actually have a ring light up here that's kind of like a halo, but it's the halo effect. What it means is if I associate myself, like right now, I'll give you an example. So right now, we at Reminder Media, we support Phil Abundance. It's a food bank. Every year, we actually do a charity issue every year. So one of our magazines every year, we actually dedicate to charity. We do fundraisers with it. A portion of the proceeds of the magazine go to charity. We give our agents the ability to advertise on our customizable magazine, the charity, all this stuff. That is a great thing for us to do to not only support what we are passionate about, but all of our clients look at us in a good light. We get the halo effect. They naturally think better of Reminder Media because of what we're doing. So I get my branding, I get the halo effect. And then the last bullet point is the follow-up. This is the difference maker between agents who close deals and agents who don't, I believe, is it's the proactive nature of your business versus the passive nature. So sending out a mailer, and keep in mind, I'm in the mailing business, right? I have magazines, postcards, all these things I offer my clients. This is a passive form of marketing. Your emails, passive form of marketing. Your Facebook ads, passive form of marketing. You have to add the proactivity, which is you want to be proactive and you want to do some type of follow-up. So the endearment portion gives you a natural follow-up. Go collect all the food that people are donating to the local SPCA. Gives you a pop-by to all the homes to meet the homeowners. I think the example I gave at your team meeting, if I remember correctly, is an ice cream truck. That's been a popular one that I've been suggesting right now to all of my clients is, hey, you're looking for a way to get out in the community, but you don't know what to do and you feel bad just going and knocking on the door and selling something. Rent an ice cream truck for $1,200 or $800, whatever it's going to cost. Get out there and give free ice cream out to all the families and kids one Saturday and get to know them. There's so many creative ideas like that that you can do. Partner with the local HOA, right? If the community you're farming has an HOA, a homeowners association, call them up and say, hey, I'd love to do like an ice cream truck. I'd love to do a food truck. I'd love to sponsor something with you guys. Get out in the community. And then also do the sweat equity of you should be knocking or calling all those homeowners and offering them things like, hey, there's been a lot of crazy stuff happening in the market. A lot of my clients are asking me for what their home is now worth with the skyrocketing of prices. So I'm offering a free CMA for all of my clients. And I just wanted to extend that to you. I love you guys' community at 1100 First Avenue and would love to offer you a free CMA if that's something you would be interested in. Right? It's very, very simple to make that phone call. You're offering an item of value. Ricky Caruth, he's a guy on YouTube. You should look him up. He's a really popular coach in the industry, also a real estate agent now. But one of the things he said that I loved is he said, so many agents are scared of picking up the phone. And the phone is 1,000 pounds to them because they're calling with an intention to get something. He said he knows it's simple, but if you just switch your mindset and go, I'm calling with intention to help somebody, it relieves all the pressure of picking up that phone because now I'm calling and I'm offering something of value. Hey, I wanted to help you. Just wanted to see if I could offer you something of help. And that's a great call to make versus trying to be almost like in a way, hey, how do I get this person? How do I get a buyer? How do I get a seller? And in the long term, that's what builds the business. All right, so you got to be consistent. You got to have impactful information and you got to follow up. Here are some farming techniques that work. If you're looking to apply some farming techniques, these couple that I'm about to show you are mailing campaigns. The first is an 8x8 strategy. So this works really, really well when you're trying to establish yourself in a new farm, or you have a new prospect you're trying to hit. An 8x8 is basically one mailer a week for 8 straight weeks. So you can replace some of the mailers with pop buys. So you could do a couple mailers per, like first 3 weeks, 4th week, you pop by the home, 5th week, you send another mailer. You can tailor in, if you wanted to, some emails, if you wanted to really kind of not just do 8 mailers. But the idea here is, remember the rule of 7, you're trying to solidify in this community that you are the agent of choice. That when people think real estate, they think of you. This is a powerful story that I open up all of my presentations with, but because I had talked to you guys before, I didn't want to open up with it, but I want to share it again here to really drive home the power of this 8x8. There was a research study done, and it was basically about 300 homes. And they asked every homeowner in this subdivision who's the number 1 agent, and a bunch of agents were named. Then the researchers came back, created a fake agent, and did this campaign, this 8x8 campaign on the neighborhood. They hit this neighborhood 8 straight weeks with 8 different touch points with a fake agent. So fake stock image offline, fake name, fake credentials. They went back, asked the same question to the homeowners. And the people who were at the meeting before already know the answer. The homeowners all chose the fake agent as the number 1 agent. Here you have someone that doesn't even exist, and the homeowners are going, oh, yeah, that's the number 1 agent in this area. The reason why this campaign works is because it's under the understanding that consumers, we tend to choose the most convenient option. We tend to choose the option that is top of mind. In fact, if you're writing down notes, there's this stat that says 76% of consumers will choose the first business that pops into their mind. So if you need an airline ticket, let's say you're going to, I don't know, Tulum, Mexico or something like that, getting ready for vacation, you need an airline ticket right now. The first airline company that you guys are thinking of, that's going to get the business 76% of the time. So how do you make sure you're first in mind to your clients? In fact, just to see if everybody is, just get you guys engaging again, another class participation. When I say electric cars, who do you guys think of? Chat in who you think of when I say electric cars. I'm just curious where, what you guys think of. Okay, we got a couple chats coming in. I'm going to pull this up. All right, we got Christopher Tesla, Kevin Tesla, Sakina Tesla. So think about that for a second. I didn't prep anybody. I didn't give you any cheat notes. I said a whole category. I said electric cars as a category. Yvonne Tesla, Chatter Tesla, and everybody's saying Tesla. And guess what? There are tons of companies that sell electric cars. There are tons of companies in this category. We all think Tesla. So here's the challenge to you today. How do you become the Tesla of real estate in your community, in your database? And the only way to do that is to be frequent, impactful, and follow up and get active in that community. Elon Musk has put out so much, has been the authority on the subject matter of, and Tesla has been the authority on electric cars that we, and I do this across the nation. It's not just you guys, it's everywhere. Everybody says Tesla because he's branded himself so powerfully as he's the number 1 go-to when it comes to electric cars. Oh, we got an Audi in there. All right, there you go. So you got one. See, only 76% choose first agent. There's always going to be some people that choose the second. All right, so this is the 8x8 campaign, 8 touch points over the course of 8 weeks. This is the 12x12. So a lot of times what agents will do is they'll hit their first farm with an 8x8 to solidify themselves as the agent, and then they'll roll it into a 12x12. A 12x12 is 1 mailer a month for 12 straight months. So if you have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, if you haven't, I recommend it. It's a great book. I've read it like 3 times. And this is not a promo for Keller Williams at all, even though I think it's convenient, but you guys should, read that book. I've read it 3 times, but I've tested these. That's why I have them on the screen, because when I set out to do postcards, I didn't want to just be a print company. So you guys probably know me mostly from my magazine, right, that I've created and do for people. But We didn't want to just do and be a print company and now print postcards, print flyers, print, all the different things that you can print. We want to be a marketing company that gives people strategies. So we have tested these strategies to actually make sure, okay, these will actually produce and work for agents. My own brother does the 12 by 12. So he farms about 2,900 homes down in Virginia. Every 50 homes that you target, you should get one transaction over the course of 12 months. That's your benchmark. So it's about a 2% conversion. If you want to take it to the next level, this is what I've been teaching agents to do, is you should be, as you are doing the mailings, you should also be running ads on Facebook. Facebook is getting a little bit less and less targeted as the rules and regulations have come in, but you can still target a 15-mile radius with Facebook ads, or you can upload a custom list. So if you buy a list, let's say from us, right, we'll provide the email addresses if we have them, and you can upload that custom list to Facebook, and Facebook will go and try to find all those people and see if they're on Facebook, and you can serve them an ad. So it's a way to retarget. These ads are branding ads. They're not direct response ads. The idea here is that you want your ads showing on social. You want them seeing you come through the mailbox, because think of it as omnipresence. I want them to see you everywhere. If they see you everywhere, chances are they think of you. Will Penny was an interview I did on the podcast. The guy sold about 217 homes last year. I think he has 3 other agents on his team. He's in Ohio. One of the strategies he does is every week he takes out his phone and he does a little market update on what's happening in his little community. He boosts that on Facebook for about $50. Can reach thousands of people for $50, and it's just an ad that gets his face out in front of people consistently. And you think that complemented with the mailers coming through is just another way to kind of take your farming to the next level. So what would the return on investment be on the 12 by 12? I always love to share this. I shared it at the team meeting. If you farm to 250 homes for 12 months, it should produce, from a payment standpoint, you should pay about $2,850. It should produce about 5 deals for you at a 2% conversion. So 250 homes at a 2% conversion is 5 new transactions. If your average home sale price is $200,000, your average commission is 3%. You would, of course, plug in your numbers here. You should be getting about $30,000 in GCI. So for your marketing spend of $2,850, your return on your marketing spend should be $27,150. Now that's before your splits and the other costs that you have in there. And this is what I would encourage you to do here at this moment, is think about your marketing campaigns. Think about it from farming, everything you're doing. If you don't have the map going for what you're expecting from your marketing campaigns, that is an action item for you. Is map out what you expect from your marketing campaigns so you can understand if you're having success, if you're not having success. The other thing that this generates most of the time is people wonder, well, why doesn't farming work for every agent? If these are the averages, I would just, if I'm you, right? If I can spend $1 and make $2, why am I not dumping every dollar I have into this? And here are the reasons most of us, when I look into it, most people are failing when it comes to farming. One is sending to the wrong audience, right? So this is the MLS turnover rates that I was talking about. This is not choosing a farm where there's too much heavy competition. So even though you're doing all the right things, you're hitting them every month, there's already a dominant agent. So in essence, you actually have to hit them more because you have to outspend and outwork that top agent that already has solidified their brand in that area. Second, not connecting consistently. This I actually find to be the killer of most real estate agents. They say 87% of agents fail within 5 years. One of the main reasons I see why is because we start and stop things all the time. Is we try this one and it's like, oh, it's not producing enough for me. And then we jump to this strategy. Oh, not producing enough, jump to this. You've got to stay consistent. I would encourage people 9 to 12 months before you give up on farming, because 9 to 12 months is just starting to get the momentum going. The content that you send, it might not be impactful enough. So you might be only sending business-related content. You need to pepper in entertaining content. You need to pepper in endearing content. And then the time factor. So not having enough time is probably the number one killer of us all. I wish I had more time. I'm sure you guys wish you had more time. But you're out there, you're trying to take care of your buyers. You're trying to generate inventory when inventory is low. And then you have your own families, your own lives to take care of. So a lot of the things that I tend to share, it's not even like it's things that have been there, like success leaves clues. I mean, I've quoted from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent in this, right? It's just the being able to translate it from the head knowledge to the heart knowledge to take action. We all suffer from the time. That is why we created our 12 Direct program. So this is what we want to do for agents. We want to give them back their time from a marketing standpoint, be the easy button. At Staples, we have the content. So we focus on creating and entertaining content like the recipe cards. We even have an email newsletter that curates local events for people. So there's a lot of things we do to try to give you entertaining content, educational content where you can update people on things they can do for their home, what's happening in the market, really be the authority in your market when it comes to real estate. And then endearing content. And it looks like I have the wrong slide there, but we have charities that you can feature. We can work with you to partner in your community to really go, okay, what are you involved in? What do you love? And make sure we're putting that on your postcards. We outlay 12 months worth of content for you. So you don't have to worry about your monthly mailer going out. You can really focus on the proactivity, the follow-up. We also have a list building tool. So if you are thinking, hey, I want to start farming and want to look at some neighborhoods and look at some different places and kind of then sort by the geographic and the demographic information, we have that type of information that you can look through, you can sort, and we can help build you a list. We also have that algorithm that I talked about. It's called a likely to move algorithm. So we can pick a zip code and give you, based upon scoring of property data, behavioral data, consumer data, who's most likely to move in that zip code. All of this, because I just threw a ton at you, right? So there's a ton of information here, a ton of different strategies you can take advantage of. We give you a client success coach who's a postcard marketing expert. So they've gone through all this training. They work with thousands of agents every single day, specifically on their postcard marketing. So building farms, designing postcards, seeing what everybody's doing. So they'll be there with you and you can work with them. If you are interested, our pricing is volume-based. So I always am super proud of sharing with people that we focus on quality. You can tell that by all the print that we've ever done. The same applies to our postcards. So our postcards are high quality, nice, heavy card stock, glossy, right? They're going to pop when they come out of the mailbox. If you did 75 or 500, it'd be 75 cents per postcard. And that's the shipping included. So each of these prices includes the shipping. So delivered all in to your clients. Anybody who is interested, I will extend our incentive of we will give you up to 1,000 free addresses if you're interested in doing our 12 Direct program. So if you're interested and want to book a consultation with our marketing postcard expert, anybody who signs up for the 12 Direct will give you 1,000 free addresses. So you don't have to send to all 1,000. Right? You could send to 250. You'll still get the 1,000 if you want the names and the addresses and everything, but we'll give you up to 1,000 free addresses and we'll help you build your farm. So I'm going to open it up to some questions for you guys of any of the strategies that I've talked about or anything I can do to really help you when it comes to your farming. If you want to take advantage of the deal and talk to one of our marketing postcard experts, you can go and book an appointment at your convenience at remindermedia.com/try. So if you go to this webpage, you'll see where you can pick a day and a time where we'll reach out to you and we'll walk you through and show you the content. We can start messing around with the list building tool. So would love to have you guys take advantage of that as well. Chad, I really appreciate that. He said, thank you. Great information. Appreciate that so much. So I'm going to open it up to questions. Anybody have any questions, whether it's on the information that I covered today or our postcard program? I'm going to take a sip of water as you guys are thinking about your questions.
Yeah. So how you doing, Luke? The
Great.
cost for your mail is that for the full service, the say the 59 cent for 5,000.
Yep.
That
So
includes
59 cents per postcard. And then that is, so let's say you did 5,000. It's just every time you send, it would be the 59 cents times the 5,000. And that includes the shipping and everything in there. So if you did 500, it'd be 75 cents times 500. And then every time you send, so if you get on our 12 direct, you'd be sending monthly at that point.
Okay, so these are monthly mailers, and how much you send out monthly.
Yep. So our pricing is, I'm going to pull up just to give you kind of an idea. So let's take 500, for instance. So 500, let's say you were going to do 500 postcards monthly. So 500 times the 0.75 would be $375. So every month you would be spending $375 for those postcards going out. So if I times that by 12, you'd be spending about $4,500 for the whole year for hitting that farm of 500 people for one mailer per month for a whole year. Gives you an idea of what the cost would be or how you would look at it. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. I always share with people too, something to think about, right? As you think through your costs and prices, think about your average sale price and your average commission. And a lot of times what I encourage people to do is measure out, okay, here's my farm that I'm going after. Here's my average sale price. Here's my average commission. Here's my goal for the amount of deals. And then go, if I spent $4,500 to hit these 500, do I believe and do I think I can actually get return on my 4,500 spend based upon my average commission that I get off of the deals? So that's normally what we'll walk through with you with our postcard marketing expert. Devin says, can't beat that. Thank you. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. I can't see any of you, so if you enjoyed what you heard, chat in. There we go. The golden key. What's your name, brother?
Sorry, guys. Anthony.
Anthony, great, man. Great to see you. Thanks for popping on.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for the information today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Christopher, thank you for chatting in. Really appreciate that. Kevin, thank you. Alexandra, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested as well, there's no obligation, right? So book the consultation, talk to our people. Even if you don't buy on there, obviously we want to build a relationship with you. Would love for you guys to listen to our podcast and keep in touch that way. If you're on social, I would love to friend you on social. So I think some of you I connected with after the last meeting, but would love to connect with all of you. I try to be active on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff, but we'll answer any of your questions. So if I can help you in any way, please let me know. My social, I'll chat it to everybody, is at Luke Akery. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Facebook is technically at Luke Akery RM. That's technically my Facebook. Awesome. Any other questions from anybody? And I'll go to the URL one more time so you guys can see that.
I had a question about the data
Yeah.
that you mentioned before. Is that all part of this service?
Yes. So if you, well, one, it's part of the incentive. Sorry, I was just pulling up for everybody the website just so you guys see. If you purchase the 12 direct program, we'll give you 1,000 free names. If you just want to purchase data, you can do that as well through us. It's normally averages about 9 cents a record, depending on what you're going after. Business addresses are a little bit more expensive, but about 9 cents a record is what it tends to be for our targeted mailing list data. So we can enter in a zip code, and you can see, like in our geographic demographic tools, you could do a mile radius, you could do a zip code. If I did King of Prussia, it could show me, let's say there's 30,000 people here. Then I could go, well, give me all the people who are homeowners, all the people who own a home, $400,000 and above, all the people who have lived in their home 7 years, that type of idea.
Is that included in the 75 cents per mailer?
No, that's not. So if you purchase a name, but if you sign up through this, you're getting up to 1,000 names free. So it is. So if you book in your consultation, you end up signing up with us, we'll give you up to 1,000 names for free.
And after that, it's 9 cents a record?
Yeah, but if not, so if you're just coming to us to book or just to buy a mailing list, it's 9 cents a record.
Okay.
Okay, so after the 1,000 for free, when you sign up for the 12 mailer, if you still want to continue for the names, it's 9 cents.
9 cents for any new names. The names that you've purchased, you can continue to mail to. So we would want to be targeting that same 1,000, let's just say, right? Over and over again. So there'll be no cost for you each time because you'll get the list on a reoccurring mailing basis. Does that make sense? Meaning like I'm giving you the 1,000 and you can continue to mail to that same 1,000. You don't have to purchase that 1,000 every time.
Yes, thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, sorry if I'm confusing you. And let me see. So this is the page. So if you went to remindermedia.com/try, just ask you for your information and to schedule a time where it's good for you. And we'll reach out to you and walk you through kind of our whole program, what we have, details there. Let me also see, I'll kind of give you an example. See if I can pull this up. I was going to give you an example, kind of our targeted mailing list. If I can pull something up real quick. Sorry about that. It's taking me just a second on my other screen. So this is in our interface when you get an account with us, but we have this targeted mailing list, which is basically our likely to move targeted predictive analytics. So if it's already selected King of Prussia, which is nice. So this is where I'm at, King of Prussia. If I select that, it will tell me, here's all my properties that are scored. So 6,919. 920 of them are very likely to move in the next year. 1,298 are likely to move, and then the rest are neutral. So I can come in here and I can basically pick how much I want. So maybe I only want the 920. And this is, again, through our algorithms purchasing system. There's a whole nother purchasing system. So it will automatically it would cost me $82.80 to get these 920 names in King of Prussia. So that is our targeted mailing list purchasing tool to go through and get the likely to move people within the area based upon the algorithm. So I know we are at the top of the hour. So I'll go back to my slides here, and anybody who's interested, definitely book so we can have more one-on-one time with you. Remindermedia.com/try. Appreciate all of you. Sakina, appreciate you setting this up.
Thank you again for coming back.
Absolutely. You guys have been awesome. Please friend me on social. Would love to connect with all of you guys, and we'll stay connected, and I'll become more frequent with you, more familiar. You'll get more comfortable, and the trust will build. So same thing applies for my business and everything I do. So really appreciate you guys. I'll close with this. I always encourage people, look, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers. And what I've seen with over 100,000 small businesses, 140 different industries I've worked with now, is top producers take action. So they hear something and they apply it. Maybe it's not every tip. It's not, I'm not even saying you have to take action using Remindermedia, but take action on one of these things that you've heard today, because that really, really is the difference maker. Take action. That's really been the tagline of everything that I do now, just because I realize it's so critical. Execution is the key. Hope you guys have a great day. See ya.